Hello Screamers, and welcome back to Screaming for Horror. This is Rain. How are ya? To honor, serve, and protect is the motto of most police stations around the country. The brave men and women that protect us from the harmful situations day in and day out have gone through intense training to protect those in need. They take risks and suffer the inconveniences of everyday danger, but in some of these cases, it seemed that our heroes needed protection of their own from something that they couldn't quite comprehend, and they haven't been the same after these eerie experiences. Seems that they just didn't catch criminals, but they also caught themselves a batch of ghostly encounters. The next 5 on-duty cops share their most freaky encounters, Part 1. As always, please remember to subscribe and hit that like button. Let's begin. Number 1. Rest in peace. It was my second year as an Oregon State Trooper. As I was riding in the cop car with my partner, a dispatch call came through about a man holding a gun to a woman's head, so we immediately drove to the location. When we got there, a woman was crying and repeating over and over, "He shot me. He shot me." "He didn't shoot you," we replied, but she kept on about it. We asked her if she had any family around where she could go and stay, and she said no. She wouldn't allow us to take her anywhere else, so after a while, we asked if she would be okay on her own, and she said yes. So since the man in question was never found, we left the scene. At the end of our shift, we told the other dispatchers and officers about the weird call, so one of them decided to look up the woman on the database, and his face went pale. It turns out that the woman had died by the hands of her husband, who had killed her 6 years prior to our encounter, and he was never caught. We decided to move on and keep quiet about what we found out. 2 years after the incident, I was training a rookie cop when a call came in from the same house. It was from the same woman, so I had to head out there and find out what was going on. When we got there, our radio strangely started to crackle. As we approached her, she simply pointed out to the inside of the house and said, "He's in there." We pulled out our guns and found a man inside the household. It was her husband, the man in question. He got 20 years for her murder, and we never heard another call from the house again. Till this day, this story still haunts me, and I ask myself, was it coincidence that we found the man, or was it her pointing us to her killer? I guess she finally got to rest in peace. Number 2. The Protector. One day, I pulled over a man for speeding. As I was making my way towards his car, I got an eerie feeling, so I turned back to my squad car, when suddenly out of nowhere, I felt a breeze and heard the door from the passenger side slam close. As I looked up, I saw a female officer, round about my age, sitting on the seat. I had no radio for backup, and I didn't see any other squad cars around, and there's no way she got out of the other vehicle since I had just left it. My canine sergeant was going berserk and was snapping and growling at the female officer. "Hello," I said to her. "May I help you?" "He has a gun by his seat." I turned for a split second to make sure the car was still there, and when I turned back, she had vanished. I went towards the car and I arrested the man on the scene. I searched the seat, and there it was, the gun she had warned me about. When I took him in, I learned that they had been looking for him for the murder of a young female cop he had committed 20 years before. He was sentenced to life in prison for his crime. Number 3. The Lingering Doctor. My partner and I responded to a call about an alarm going off at an office building. It was an old building that had been converted into doctor's offices with a pharmacy attached to it. The motion signal that triggered the alarm was an office upstairs. After the key holder got there, we went in to secure the premises. The door that leads to the stairs was locked, and the key holder weirdly didn't have the keys, so we took the elevator up to the second floor. After exiting the elevator, we stumbled upon a long hallway full of nothing but darkness, except for an overhead lamp at the end of the hall. As we made our way checking the doors, so far, they're all secured. We get to the last office, and it's unlocked. We enter, and we see that it's empty. We check several exam rooms and a reception area, and everything was clear. As soon as we exit the office, something seems off right away. Suddenly, the overhead light at the end of the hall has now been replaced with one over by the elevators. I looked at my partner, and he's completely white. Weren't those doors we just checked locked? Well, now they're completely open, he said. So we go back and check every one of them, and they're all clear. On our way out, just before we turn the corner, the main door slammed shut, and our radio started to get some sort of static. Now, I just want to get the hell out of there. We took the elevator down and looked for the key holder, but he's nowhere to be found. So I contacted dispatch to get a hold of him, but they told us that the key holder is barely on her way. About 5 minutes or so. Her way. We told dispatch about the guy we talked to, but they told us it was just probably some other employee. When she finally got there, I started to tell her about the man that let us in. Well, what did he look like? She asked. As I was giving her the description of the person, she told us that I was describing the doctor who used to lease the office on the second floor. He had committed suicide in his home several days before that night. Now, if we get a dispatch from that building, I'm the first one that refuses to go. Number 4. Grandma's still around. I was sent one day to do a runaway/missing person call. While I was taking the report of the missing person, their eldest daughter comes out of the room, points towards the hallway, and yells, "Grandma." The father ran towards the hallway, yelling, "Ma, Ma." He then turns around and asks me, "Did you see her? Did you see my mother?" "No, I didn't, sir." "Why are you surprised to see her walking down the hall?" I asked. "She died last year," the father replied. "We see her walking around the house all the time." Needless to say, I took the rest of the report outside on the porch. Number 5. Child's play. I've never been a believer in the paranormal, but that day I made an exception. I responded to a call made by an elderly lady. She reported that she kept seeing a young girl running through her yard, and she was afraid of vandalism or maybe worse. On my way over, it started to pour like there's no tomorrow, lightning and thunder too. When I arrived at the residence, she pointed to where the yard was, and I made my way over towards the back. I tried to shine my flashlight, along with asking if anyone was out there. "Come on out." But nothing. All I heard was the sound of thunder in the background. I made my way back inside the house, and the lady, now trembling in a corner, tells me, "She's inside the house." I heard a thump in the background, and I see a young girl, about 13, running from one side of the house to the other. I quickly moved towards her and asked her to stop, but then she disappears right in front of me. I thought it was my eyes playing a trick on me, but then the lady yells out, There she is, right outside." I turned towards a big window leading to the backyard, and there she was, running around. But how did she get past me to exit to the back door? I immediately go outside, and she's vanished again. After I was unable to find anything and no logical explanation, I told the lady the girl had run away, and I was unable to catch her due to the weather to calm her down. Months later, I found out that the elderly woman had passed away, and some new people had moved into her old home. Not long after that, dispatch picked up a call from the same house. Now, the new tenants have been reporting a young girl running around in their backyard and suddenly inside their house. I let someone else pick up the call after that. Well, horror lovers, we hope you enjoyed today's video and come back and see us for more and for part 2. If you have a ghostly experience, a close encounter, or want to share any photos or videos of strange phenomena, feel free to send us an email to screamingforhorror@gmail.com, and your story could be featured in one of our future videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe and follow us on our Facebook page for more. And remember, until next time, sweet screams.